it's advisable to make a menu video on how the spectrograms are navigable and configurable. The major delay in the release of Stroll 2 was rescaling the menu for this little guy and pulling a lot of files into the configuration, a lot of settings into the configuration file. So firstly, we have brightness modes. This includes two submodes. The yellow indicates a submode where the pixels light up, their brightness correlates to the amplitude of a sound, whereas red is just a flat, continuous brightness with color changing according to amplitude. And those are toggled with the submode toggle, which is a single bolt on the pointy end of the triangle. Then we have up and down inside each submode. Up and down. So that's a pretty useful different mode for different use cases. The next mode shows you the resolution of your spectrum. So, well, I'll just go back and turn this one up a bit and turn it off of that mode. These are your octaves on display, and you can increase the resolution of your spectrum but lose the amount of information range that you have, or you can go all the way down to a single note displayed across the whole, displayed for each pixel across the 12 wide. But you would probably lose sight of most notes if you did that with the little guy. But you might want to pan, and for that you go submode, indicated by the blue. You can go up to higher frequencies, and it's a similar story over here. I toggle the submode blue, and I can pan up. Wonderful. Now you might ask what happens when I scale down. Well, it remaps to make sure that you're always viewing part of the spectrum. The next main mode is a decibel control mode, where the brightest pixel is displaying the level that you're setting, either the higher or the lower. And inside each pixel, there is multiple subsettings for depending on how fine a resolution you've set in your configuration file. What I'm doing right now is making sure that louder sounds are mapped to louder colors. And I can do the same over here. This is what you would do if you were in a loud and noisy room. And if you want to cut out quiet sounds, you would raise the lower level by switching with the submode switch and raising the volume. You can't bring them too close together because you would be dealing with a very narrow band of information in that case. So this mode is particularly useful for the synesthesia mode, which is toggled using all three buttons. We've got an issue here because we've raised our floor too much and we're getting no information passing through. It's quite quiet at night here. So there we go, low sounds, low frequencies correlated. I'll do the same over here. And I added this granularity, which is settable in the config, because I was finding my decibel steps were too coarse, and I was finding it hard to get a good balance during field testing, which is something funny to do at a coffee shop. Synesthesia mode. This is the plasma synesthesia mode. And over here we'd have a rainbow synesthesia mode. So the notes are scaled from red up to white, A through to G sharp, or A flat if you prefer. And they are picking up a lot of information, so it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on at the moment. So I typically will go to the frequency band of interest, and I will raise the floor so that I'm only seeing dominant notes. Too high. Too high. Ooh. So that looks like a B. It's probably higher in that field. Over here, I will go raise the floor. Ooh. Ooh. It's out of range, so what I'll do is I'll pan down to lower frequencies. Ooh. So I went maybe from an F to an A to a D, I think. So that's the sort of utility that you can get out of these. Alrighty, that's a run through of the menu and a use case. Pan down with this guy. Let's see if that gets into my natural speaking register. Ooh, yeah, it does. And I ran into a bit of a block setting the colors for this guy because I don't have color blindness, so it's hard for me to figure out what good colors are for differentiation. And my last note is, if you have synesthesia and your A is a different color to my A as set, you can go into the configuration file and set what hue or RGB values you want your musical notes to be. If you were, for example, Jimi Hendrix with your purple haze. Anyway, this is continuing in the desire to make a wonderful bridge between light, music, and sound so that you can enjoy your music wherever you are, on the go, perhaps field testing. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you enjoy navigating the menu.